Hey everybody, welcome to the Time Dojo. This is Nelson Santiago Beltran, and today, like I said and I promised, this is episode 2, and we're going to interview my co-host, Albert Emery from Lincoln Park, Michigan, my screenwriting partner, and we're going to interview him for our episode 2. And this is Albert Emery. He's got his Lions gear, and everybody can stay relaxed, and you'll delight and amaze yourself as you watch our video today and all the videos that we have on our channel. So I'm excited. This is our episode 2 podcast and YouTube. So Albert, tell me a little bit about yourself. And
well, as you mentioned, I am from Lincoln Park, Michigan, and sometimes it's kind of funny you bring that up because often when I'm in a different city or just out of the Metro Detroit area in general, I'll mention that I'm from Detroit, Michigan, because people don't know where Lincoln Park is, and if they do, they're not really impressed, so to speak. So normally I say I'm from Detroit, Michigan, or at least a suburb of Michigan, because Lincoln Park, it could mean Chicago, it could mean New Jersey, it could mean Lincoln Park. It's kind of but if you're from downriver, you kind of know what Lincoln Park is. That's our region, downriver. But yeah, but I say I'm from Metro Detroit. I'm from Lincoln Park. But yeah, I'm a Detroiter deep down. So, but Lincoln Park is my hometown. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. My grandmother, I grew up visiting my other grandmother. I had a primary grandmother. They were both passed. They're both deceased. But when I was growing up, I think from age 21, I just finished Michigan State University, and I'm class of 1990. Just finished Michigan State with a bachelor's of science in psychology. My dad would make it a point, we would go visit my grandmother, but it was my other grandmother. It was the sister of my primary grandmother. My dad's favorite aunt, he would say this is his favorite aunt, and God bless her soul, she was a school teacher in the Philippines. I apologize to the Rillo family. I call their grandmother Rillo, R-I-L-L-O, and she was just a really awesome grandmother, and we would go to Lincoln Park. She lived in Lincoln Park. My other aunt, I had another aunt, Dr. Luz Raminda Rivera. So there's a Rivera Clinic right there on Outer Drive and 4th Street. So everybody that's a downriver rat, we're downriver rats. I grew up in Southgate, went to Southgate Shelters, went to Southgate Garish, Southgate Aquinas, then moved to Groseal. I'm class of 85 from Groseal. What class are you from Lincoln Park, Albert?
Well, I'm 2011, and I have somewhat of an interesting story. I did go through Lincoln Park school system. However, I was homeschooled up until 6th grade.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So who homeschooled you?
It was my mom, and it was it was a really interesting experience because I had no friends, so to speak, other than my cousins, which I did have a lot of. I did have a lot of cousins to, keep me social, I guess you could say, but I went to a Catholic school in 6th grade, and then from that point on I went into middle school, and it's kind of an interesting story, and this, not to get off topic or anything, but I did this, it was like the 3rd or 4th week of middle school, and I didn't know anyone. I just come from a small little Catholic school, and I did this, my teacher said, we need someone to do something crazy. And it's like, well, I'll do something crazy. Why not? So she.
So what'd you do?
So before school one day, she said, "You have to come up before school. We were the Lincoln Park Dragons. So
Ooh.
We were doing the Dragon Report, which was every week, and it consisted of me." Jumping in front of a camera. Well, someone would say a fact, and I'd jump in front of the camera, I'd disappear and then jump out and say, "Did you know?" And it's kind of cheesy now, but
did you know?
It was so it's really kind of cheesy, to this day, people come up to me in random spots and and just say, "Did you know?" It's like, I know, I know.
So your friends would sneak up on you and say, "Did you know?"
Yeah,
Or,
it became like, and I'm not saying I was a celebrity or anything. Well, in Lincoln Park Middle School I was, but it was kind of funny though because it like everyone in the whole school. You go from a homeschooled kid who just went through a year of Catholic school, basically knowing nobody.
oh,
And then everyone in the whole school of 500 kids just come up and you say, "Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know?" It's kind
are
of.
you the only one? Are you the oldest? Are
I
you the youngest? Are you the or how many kids in your family?
In my family, I'm the only child.
You're the only child.
I am the only child. Yes, and I mean, like I said, I had older cousins, so in that sense, I was the youngest. I was like the little brother of the cousins. So.
Oh, the little brother of the cousins.
Yeah, the youngest cousin, which ultimately is the younger brother, because you get picked on, you have perks with being the youngest.
They weren't bullies, were they?
Not particularly, but and on the other side of my family, my dad's side, I was one of the older ones, so it was kind of vice versa. But yeah.
Oh wow.
So.
Wow. So
Yeah.
did you know?
Did you know? Yeah. So. It's an interesting story. Yeah, but prior to that, being homeschooled was a very interesting experience because when I got into regular public / private, regular organized school, I was really advanced in math and somewhat slow in reading, which I found interesting because,
Oh wow.
yeah, just, I don't know if it was my mom's skills, or teaching me, or if it just, I don't know. But I thought that was kind of interesting, though. That was kind of had to catch up in reading.
What was the name of your Catholic school before you phased over to the public school?
It was called St. Mary Magdalene.
Okay, St. Mary Magdalene.
Magdalene. It was in Melvindale, and because my mom, at that time I was involved with. I belonged to 4 churches at that time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 4 Catholic churches. So.
Oh wow.
So it was a lot. We were very growing up. Actually the house I live in now, the house that my parents inherited. The old lady who lived there, she was my great aunt. So, but she was very religious. She gave to over 70 charities or something like that. Just a great woman. Just a very religious woman. She came from that time, and she also came from that era where most people went to church.
Yep.
So.
And so St. Mary Magdalene, is that the also the name of the church that you went to that's connected with your Catholic school?
Yes, yeah. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, St. Mary Magdalene Church is still functioning. Where is for me, I happened to catch the last. My 6th grade year, which I was already planning on. It was K through 8, so I could have stayed there. Well, they actually closed in my last year. They just happened to close.
Oh, wow. What year was that?
That was 2004-2005 school year. So, so that was the 6th grade year. So I moved on. I was planning on moving on to the Lincoln Park Middle School, anyways, which is 7th and 8th grade. So.
What was your best thing of attending Lincoln Park Middle School? Any thoughts of the media or film at that time when you were in that new school, the public school, or did you just start thinking about that when you went into high school?
Film, no. Even in high school, no, not particularly. Media, yes, absolutely, yes. Music, yes. Media, I was always fascinated with media, and always in media, never observing media, so to speak. I've always wanted to be the one in front of the camera. I've always wanted to be the one either creating or editing or being involved with it.
Oh wow!
As opposed to observing. if that makes sense.
So there was a middle school, and then what was the name of the high school that you from the public middle school? What's the name of the high school that you went to? And what was the big significant event? Or do you have two significant events that you could talk about? Were you doing a lot of sports? You said you're doing a little bit of music.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because there was actually, it's kind of a long story, but I'll make it as short as possible. I played high school I played football in high school, and for a lot of people don't know, well, a lot of people do know, but we lost 66 straight games from the time I was in 8th grade. To
oh my God! What was the name of your high school, and what was the
It was Lincoln Park High School, and
what was their mascot? Lincoln Park.
we were the Railsplitters, and we didn't have
Railsplitters.
Yeah, because Abraham Lincoln was a Railsplitter.
Okay.
So our mascot was, I guess it was technically Abe Lincoln was our mascot.
Okay. Can you explain what a rail splitter is for our audience out there? Because someone's going, oh, what is he talking about? What's a rail splitter?
Yeah. So Abraham Lincoln worked on the rails, and that's pretty much all I know about that. But Lincoln Park being Abraham Lincoln, there's actually pictures of Abraham Lincoln throughout the city that represent Abraham Lincoln. But
I have to say that was a good movie, Lincoln. I saw Lincoln. And it was long ago when it first came out, and I know everybody was reading the autobiography. I think I've got it next door. I've got Washington, Lincoln, and Einstein in autobiographies.
Oh, wow.
I think it's Isaac. I can't think of his last name. You know what I'm talking about? He first got a hit book around Steve Jobs. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Steve Jobs or Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs.
Okay.
The name of the book author. He would do these, and I'll mention it in episode 3 because I got to look it up. I can't remember if the first name was Isaacs or the last name. Really great autobiographer, narrator, writer. I have the Einstein and Jobs autobiography. I know they turned those autobiographies into movies. So, but go back to Abraham Lincoln. So the significant event, you played football. So what happened?
Going back to our Lincoln Park or Abraham Lincoln, they used to play
Railsplitters.
Yeah, the year before I was in high school, they played "Crazy Train" by Ozzy Osbourne or Black Sabbath. I don't know, but they played "I'm going off the rails on a crazy train." So they kind of went with it.
I had an AC/DC T-shirt and I had a Black Sabbath T-shirt. Yeah, I'm also downriver. So I went just like you. I went to Southgate Garish Middle School. So I remember I had a black. I had a black AC/DC shirt somewhere, and I know I had a black and white T-shirt. And I'm just like Albert. We had Southgate St. Pius. How you had your Mary Magdalene. I went to Southgate St. Pius, and I got confirmed there. I'm Catholic, and I remember because you had to get confirmed in every Sunday school. So what's your catechism name?
I didn't get confirmed, so I
what?
Yeah, because that's typically 8th grade.
Okay.
When you can confirm around that age, around 13, 14, 15, or somewhere in that age range. And I was out of school. I was out of Catholic.
So you skipped and you didn't get confirmed? Seriously?
No.
No, man.
No.
Seriously, you're yanking my chain.
Nope, I never got confirmed, but I did. Let me see, baptism. Reconciliation, which is confession.
So we're all baptized. Yeah, you have to get baptized.
Yeah, and then Eucharist, which is communion.
Yeah, you have to have Holy Eucharist.
I've had 3 of the 7 sacraments. So I didn't go through the confirmation. You had to get married in the Catholic Church. And then what's the other one?
That'll be a while. Don't rush it. That's a whole another episode, folks. I could tell you about that.
Being a priest or a nun, and then your last, was it the last wish? Your last wishes or last prayer or whatever that is before you pass away.
Okay.
I think that's
some serious. So
that's the last sacrament, I believe. So
okay.
Out of the 7, so I've had three of the 7. So, but
You had those last rites, or no? Did you have some major sickness? Is that why you're bringing up the last rites?
no. So you get I just mentioned the 7 of them.
I have to say, I was really sick. I think it was 2007, and they thought, what was it? I had an arterial. I think I told you this. I had an arterial burst on my left leg, and I was limping for 2 weeks. And my aunt, Dr. Rivera, says, "Oh my God, you might have a blood clot in your leg." And so I was in Henry Ford Wyandotte Hospital for 3 days, man.
That's
and
wrong.
they were telling me I was gonna, yeah. I have nothing against Henry Ford. I love all the doctors and all that. I'm just saying I had a priest there give me last rites, and I was calling. I wasn't able to reach anybody. I don't know if everybody has that aha moment where you're trying to call somebody and no one would pick up. And I really thought I was gonna die because I had my aunt was saying, "Oh, you got a blood clot in your leg." I thought I injured myself because I was doing a lot of YA salsa. I was salsa dancing and everything, Albert. And I thought, but then I got out of the hospital and here I am today. But man, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was a Catholic priest doing the last rites, but man, I think.
Yeah,
they did. I know I had a miracle.
And not die. I mean, that is kind of.
They gave me a blood thinner.
Drastic, I mean,
yeah, I had to take a blood thinner, and I think a miracle occurred because the clot was gone, and
really?
I was discharged out of Henry Ford and Wyandotte. So go back to you.
That really is scary. So you've had.
The last rites.
So you've had 6 of the 7 sacraments then, right?
Yeah. I had the marriage one, and then we're both back confirmation. Yeah. But I had a confirmation name, and people are gonna laugh. But I chose Saint Nicholas, Jolly Saint Nicholas, Santa Claus. Ho 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 ho! You hoes out there, baby, watching ho 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 ho! I know. Yeah. Hey, shout out to Darrell Wells and his wife. His beautiful wife, I wanted to shout out. They got married. I believe they're in their 50s, and I was just chatting with him yesterday out in Duro. One of my buddies I met on, I think on Red Dawn and Real Steel. We were, my other buddy, you'll meet him. He's a beautiful guy. Darrell Wells out in Detroit. I think he's one of those archivists for Detroit Public Schools. So... but to get back to Albert here, sorry, I digress. We're going to take twists and turns. This is episode 2. So we're getting to know Albert Emery from Lincoln Park, and so high school.
So and you mentioned a couple significant moments, and this was actually my junior, and a lot of people don't realize about me because I was involved in high school. I was involved with a bunch of sports, a bunch of AP classes, a bunch of clubs.
So you did football, you did AP, advanced. What were the advanced AP classes? What were they?
Science, math, English, everything I could possibly do, I did. I wanted to be as well-rounded as possible. So I played varsity football, hockey, track.
That's a lot. Football, hockey, track. Did you get your letter? You have a letter?
Yep.
Shit, you got a Lincoln Park letter jacket?
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
I have 9 stripes for each year I played varsity.
You got 9 stripes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that about Albert. Wow.
So, but, and hockey was my main thing, but football, the whole program was in shambles when I was playing, and our coach, I didn't get much playing time, and it was no one of a lot of talent did, in my opinion, and not to talk bad about anyone in any system in particular. Anyways, I got a chance to play, and this is the first game I started.
Okay.
And it was my junior year, and generally speaking, it's just juniors and seniors who play varsity. Sometimes sophomores, sometimes freshmen. But anyways, I ended up getting. It was 31. We're down by 2 scores at halftime, so it was like 21-7. let's say, something
What
like.
was your position on your?
I was a defensive tackle. So
Lincoln Park Railsplitters?
Right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're down 21-7. And keep in mind, we're already at like the program had already lost 34 straight games, somewhere around there. So, and they're all blowouts. These aren't games that were decided by.
So
one
what were the
touchdown.
schools you were playing on your, or the roster of the schools that your Lincoln Park was playing?
Well, we're playing Southgate, we're playing Wyandotte, we're playing Allen Park, just the downriver schools. And but it was 21-7 at halftime. My mom happened to show up and she left. I hadn't,
What year was that?
This was the year was 2009.
2009, people.
So it was I was graduating in 2000. I was the class of 2011, so it was my junior year.
Class of 2011. Okay,
Yeah,
so you're in your junior year.
Yeah. So I they had the ball, the other team had the ball, and I got a fumble recovery. And from that point on, I was a very animated football player. I talked a lot of smack.
Were you one of the big guys on your team, or were there bigger guys?
I would say it was in the between the haves and have not,
How much did you weigh?
I weighed about 180 then.
And how tall are you at that time?
About the same as I am now, about 5'11".
You're 5'11". Oh,
so yeah, I was in the bigger group of people.
280, you said just now?
180.
180, but then, wow, that's pretty big. That's big for high school.
Yeah, for a high school lineman, it's okay. It's not. I wanted to be a receiver, but they already had their mind on that.
Did you have a good quarterback?
No. Well, everything about our team just sucked.
Oh, wow.
And not bash any quarterback. I think it was.
What was his name? You can bash him. This is our channel.
I'm not going to bash him. He was a really good person, and it wasn't his fault.
I got you.
So,
But
anyways, I recovered the fumble, and from that point on, we ended up taking the lead.
Okay.
And we went back and forth, and we actually missed an extra point. And we got just a bunch of stuff happened. It ended up being a shootout game, but we ended up losing by 1 point.
Okay, 1 point.
1 point out of, and that was the closest we'd won in 30-something games.
What?
And the next day...
In 30-something games?
Yeah. And the next day, all these seniors were rushing. Well, me included, they're all rushing in to read the paper.
Okay.
And my name was in the paper.
And what did it? What was that?
It said "Fumble Recovery" by Albert Emery. And I was
oh man, you hear that, folks?
Yeah.
At YouTube Podcast Land, "Fumble Recovery" by Albert Emery. It was what was the name in the newspaper? I forget.
It was back. I tried looking for it. I don't take a whole pride in it, because I've done other great. I've done other great stuff. I've done other stuff, but that wasn't the highlight of my life. And I try not to I never bring that story up often, but to highlight some of the, some people
So
say
football, I assume, was your favorite sport in high school then?
hockey.
Sure.
No,
oh, hockey?
Yeah, because I was in student council. I was in NHS and
National Honor Society.
Yeah, and some people might say, and I was in all these AP classes, and some people might think,
so you had higher than 3.5 for sure.
Oh, I had a 4. I was actually tied to be in the top 10.
No way. What was your grade point? You said
I was number 11 in the.
No way.
And you know what screwed me over? It was AP statistics, and
oh god,
I carried an A average over 4.0 throughout my whole high school. And then
what was the name of your teacher for AP statistics?
That was Miss Hughes. That's what her name was.
Wow, Miss Hughes.
She was fair.
But it was a tough class?
It was a brand new class they were just introducing, and I decided to take it. And looking back, I could have taken a gym class, and I would have been top 10. But I decided to take an AP
statistics. How many AP courses did you take in high school? You said so. You got AP statistics,
AP stats, AP chemistry, AP English, AP World History.
Oh my God, advanced. Oh my God, advanced. It's crazy.
I think that's it. It was a long time ago, but I never gotten a C in high school. I got a D in that class.
Okay, so that just
and
lowered.
If I would have gotten a D plus in that class, I would have been top 10. So I got a D instead of a D plus, and I didn't make top 10. So that's
Oh my God.
in the last possible class you could have been eligible for. So it's like the second after, like, so yeah, the
Were
second.
you looking forward to, what was your target for college? What college were you meditating on or contemplating?
No, everything.
When
At that age, I mean, I was just so focused on everything between the social life and the academic life and the sports and just life in general, family life. I mean, I barely had time for family life. I mean, I still went to Christmas, of course, and I still did a bunch of, cousin's birthday, blah, blah, blah. But just in general, I mean, there was no free time, rarely any free time. And,
were you on a scholarship when? So what year did you go start college? And how many colleges did you apply to? And,
I applied to a lot of them, and
which colleges?
the ones that made sense were Wayne State,
Wayne State,
Eastern, right, and those are the ones that I got they accepted the most grants,
okay,
and stuff like that.
You didn't apply. Did you apply to University of Michigan or Michigan State?
I did. It just didn't make sense just because of the cost.
Okay.
So I didn't get a scholarship though for Wayne State or Eastern. And I got a few grants. I got more than one, I guess, and I got a few to like Grand Canyons, smaller schools in different states. But at that time in my life, it wouldn't have made sense. Just where I was financially. I mean, I kind of went through a rough time after my senior year, but. Going to Wayne State made the most sense.
So you went to Wayne State. What's the, is it Wayne State Warriors or is it Wayne State Tartars? I forgot.
It's the the Warriors.
Okay.
And
what was the time frame on that when you started there at Wayne State?
2011.
Okay.
2011. And
did you declare a major right away, or?
I did, and it was communications.
Okay.
And at that point, that was my strongest suit was in high school, so I decided.
Did you live on campus, or did you commute back and forth from Lincoln Park?
Yeah, I commuted, and most of the people who went to Wayne State did, unless they're a foreign exchange student. But yeah, I commuted from Lincoln Park to Wayne State, I'm not going to say I regret it, but it would have been really cool to live on campus. Not at Wayne State particularly, but at a university. My cousin, who I'm very close with, he graduated in 2004, so.
At Wayne State?
No, at USC.
Okay.
So that was about 7 years prior. He's about 7 years older than me. So
University of Southern California?
Right, okay. Yeah, so I hear stories about when he graduated college.
Wow, how much older is he?
7 years.
Okay, so he's 7 years,
so he graduated from
what's the name of your cousin?
His name is Lori.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can shout out. This is our channel.
Yeah, this is our channel.
Say hi, Lori. What's his last name? Hey, Lori.
Lori Lodico.
Lori Lodico. Hey, we're at the Time Dojo with host Albert Emery, and we're getting to know his background and leading up to. So when you were at Wayne State, what were all the projects you were working on at Wayne State? What was your favorite class? And
yeah, it's funny you bring that up. And I did have a favorite class, and it was African Studies.
Okay.
And communications major.
Okay.
You never guess that in a million years. Oh, what was your favorite college course? It was African Studies.
No way.
But
was that a 4-credit class or a 3-credit class?
I forget. It was the technical class.
Was that a history class? It was anthropology class or
I think it was
archaeology.
It was a required class in the sense where that category I had to take it.
Okay.
It was called Peace and Conflict.
Okay, Peace and Conflict.
And it branched off into African Studies. But
North Africa or South Africa or
the
continent?
Whole continent in general. But you'd never believe the knowledge and wisdom and understanding you can receive from a place like Africa. Like you never, like it's where everything originated. I
Okay.
mean, you think of sports, that originated there, between the tap
What was the
dancing.
city? Yeah, what was the cities that they were focusing on that course?
It was basically every country. I mean, because everything is derived essentially from Africa, and I'm not going to go into this whole diatribe about Africa and how you
Yeah.
should, about, this is off subject. I met this one, this one lady in,
Okay, nice,
it,
nice college classmate or.
she was she was very nice.
Okay.
But every time I saw her, she talked about Korea, and like she talked about South Korea.
Oh wow.
And then like,
Okay.
I mean, you mentioned how was your day? She would say South Korea type of thing. I mean, just everything was about South Korea. It's like,
Okay.
and it's like, okay, I get it.
So she was in your class, and so what else?
She was actually a teacher's assistant. This was for a different class, but
Okay.
I'm just saying I don't want to like.
Wow. So she was also probably potentially. So she was a assistant professor or assistant grad assistant.
Yeah.
But maybe potentially she was also teaching a class on Korea. That might be. That's possible. Anything's possible. So.
Yeah, I'm not into it, but what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to go into this diatribe about Africa, but it was so interesting though, and I remember,
Wow.
and I had no intention of taking.
When you say that, I always think of the movie with Robert Redford. There was my favorite movie, and it has Meryl Streep and Robert Redford. You look it up, Meryl Streep, Robert Redford. Is a big movie. It was a big hit. I don't know if it got Oscars. I think it did. It's called Out of Africa, and I believe it was a true story. You know what I'm talking about? With Meryl Streep and Robert Redford. That's the name of the movie, Out of Africa. I just remembered it. I said when you started saying Africa. I love the lions, man. The lions, the lion. The prides of lions. I grew up watching all these documentaries, and every time they would show Africa, I would see a pride of lions, and they would show all the lions chasing the gazelles. So they were hunting and killing gazelles on the plains of Africa. But when you said Africa, I was like thinking of those two things. Lions. I'm scared of lions, but I think the lion.
I'm scared of these lions.
Oh no! Oh no! I know there's some big fans out there. Shout out to Charles Primus. Lions, because I see your stories up on Facebook. Charles Primus, he's one of the senior introduction leaders in our community at Landmark. So I feel your pain.
Yeah, for those of you watching, it's Sunday evening, and the Lions played today, and
what happened?
They lost to the Cowboys.
Oh no! What was the score?
I forget. It was, I don't know, 27-10. I don't know. I forget the score. I watched some of it though.
He deleted his memory. That's why.
Yeah, you should. If you're a Lions fan, delete your memory immediately.
Oh man! So if you weren't cheering for the Lions, who would you cheer for?
In football or in sports?
In football. Go Eagles! Sorry.
Football.
Go Eagles! Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, I've always been a Steelers fan.
So Pittsburgh Steelers.
I've always been a
You remember Rocky Blyer?
No.
Okay.
I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan. Oh.
Rocky Blyer! Remember? Oh my God! You gotta look him up. Okay.
I've always been.
Did you ever collect football cards or baseball?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
I collect a lot of football. Well,
so Pittsburgh Steelers.
I collect a lot of hockey cards. I
Okay,
collect a
hockey
lot of
cards.
baseball cards. But the Steelers I like a lot. I've always liked them.
Did you have a favorite player?
I like Jerome Bettis. Yeah, I did that.
Oh yeah, Jerome Bettis.
When he played in the Super Bowl, I was quite young.
What year was that?
2005 or
2005
or something like that.
Okay.
But he played, like, Steelers came to the Ford Field. That's where the Super Bowl was played.
Yeah.
And that's where they won. So
I mentioned the legendary Rocky Blyer. But anyways,
I like the.
Who was the other guy? There was another guy who was a big quarterback. And
Big Ben, Big Red Roethlisberger.
Yep, that's one guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's another guy who became an actor. Everybody out there, I'm shouting out. If you know, you can text me or email me. I know one of them was a big TV actor. I can't think of his name. They'd had these TV commercials, and I know they had O.J. Simpson when I was growing up. I'm a child of the '80s. I'm trying to remember this guy's name. He was a big quarterback for the Steelers, and then he became an actor. I'm hoping I'm thinking about the right person. I know they had Frank Gifford. Remember Frank Gifford? Another football great. So they would be three of these guys, and they would commentate with. I see the image of the guy, but I can't remember the name. Howard Cosell.
Bill Parcell?
No, Howard Cosell. Howard Cosell. I grew up with this guy. He's an old dude, and he was a legendary anchor for one of the channels. Yeah, Howard Cosell.
Okay.
So he would be commentating with O.J. Simpson and that other legendary football player, and I can't remember because I don't see the name or say the name enough. But yeah, let's go back to Albert here.
So I like the Packers, even though they're in our own division, so they don't really count. So, but I don't know. I like the Jaguars just because they're the only professional sports team in Jacksonville.
Yeah, man, Jacksonville.
I like. I've always liked the Saints for some reason.
Oh, okay, the Saints. No.
Yeah.
Well, who's your pick for the Super Bowl? Because when I was at.
I have to go with the 49ers now.
So you think the 49ers are going to be there? So. Up against who?
That's a good question. I want to say Kansas City. I don't know if they have what it takes though to beat Buffalo.
The Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs. I don't know. I think they'll lose to Buffalo this year. I really do. I think it'll be the Bills and the
Buffalo Bills
and the San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco 49ers.
I do. I think that's who it's going to be.
Okay.
I think it's their year. They haven't been to the Super Bowl in a very long time. Well, San Francisco made it, 10 years ago maybe? Or the Bills haven't made it in a very long time. And, they haven't. Neither team has won it in over 30 years now. Well, maybe 20 years maybe. The Bills have never won it. So I think it's their time. But they've had some really good teams too. So I think it's both those teams here to make the Super Bowl. That's what I'll say.
I think everybody's waiting for it. It's coming up, the big game between. And now I'm talking to college football. We got the Michigan State game coming up. I think next Saturday.
It is. I thought it was.
Which is Halloween. There's a big Halloween party that I'll be going to, but I'm going to try to catch. Hopefully they'll have it playing there. I'm going to Gabriel and his wife's. Halloween party there at the Masonic Temple right in there in Wyandotte. I know I invite a lot of you people off of Facebook land, so please say yes. I hope I see some of you. William Cates, shout out to my buddy William Cates, my old co-worker from a real crappy tech company that we're I'm not going to mention it, but people will know. What else? So when you finished college, when did you graduate? With what? Bachelor's
of communications, but going back to the African studies,
okay,
it was amazing how, because I took 2 years of psychology, and in my second class, my last class, it was I found the material very, very interesting, and I had a very, very long night the previous night. And I stayed there, it was like a typical school day or work day, whatever you want to say, about 7 hours. I was there taking 3 classes. So I had breaks in between, and...
How many classes did you have in a semester? Did you have 5, 6,
No,
4?
I think 4, but I was taking 3 on one day. And, and I think it was like English or something. So
you had English, the Africa class.
Well, English, psychology, then an African
psychology.
class.
Which psychology was it that you took?
It was, I forget.
Was it intro to psych? Or
no, it was the second class after. So I forget what it
developmental psych, child psych?
It might have been developmental, but a lot of biology in it.
So maybe biological psychology?
it was like the second stepping stone to become a psychologist.
Oh, wow.
So the second step.
So you were looking at that trick.
I was, and I found psychology very interesting. I really did. And all throughout college, I tried to be as well-rounded as possible. I even took astronomy. I really thought that was interesting.
Oh man, I had a rough time in my. I had an astronomy class. I know that was one of my harder classes. I hear you on the harder classes. I'm trying to think of the easier classes. Psychology is my strong suit. I did finish March 1990, class of 1990. Michigan State Spartans, a Bachelor of Science in Clinical Psychology.
But if you were to tell ask the average person, in me and myself included, prior to this class, what would fascinate you more, psychology or African studies? I think most people, including myself, would say psychology.
Okay.
That's why I really enjoyed looking into the brain, looking into the mind, just like the patterns of thinking, blah, blah, blah. But, so I'm sitting there, I'm dead tired after this English class, and I have the psychology class in 1 hour, so I wake up, I'm dead tired, and I make it through the psychology class, and the material's very interesting, and she's one of these teachers who...
So as a professor, okay.
She was a professor, but she was one of these teachers who would read from the board, then you take notes. She'd read the next slide from the board, then you take notes. You'd go to the next slide, and then you'd take notes. She'd describe something on the board, and then you'd take notes. And by the time the class was over for this day, I was dead effing tired. I was about to go home. And in this African class, it was about...
Were you cramming for the class? Did you have like a midterm?
I forgot what the reason why I was so tired. I don't really remember why.
Everybody remember cramming in college? You'd cram and you'd be up and you wouldn't sleep. You'd just cram for the class and you'd slam a Red Bull or something.
Yeah.
My roommate would be slamming Red Bulls. And in the residence dorm, and so were you cramming? Were you cramming for that class, or was it just it was just a?
I don't remember the reason. I did a lot of cramming though, and I did a lot of procrastination too, which I'm not proud of. But
wow,
it was what it was. But the next.
So when you procrastinated, what'd you do? You just didn't? Did you show up for class or not show up for class?
I got everything done, and honestly, I was so tired at this point. I was about ready to just say, you know what, because I didn't get a break. I didn't have time for a little 20-minute nap or anything. The class was literally right after my psychology class, this African class, and I was like, I'm a very strong-willed person. I think I'll just go there and push it out. I'm going to sit there for the 2-hour lecture and just push it out.
Oh my God!
And this professor...
How many people were in your class?
Was
that small?
Six.
You had 6 people in your class?
Yeah, so...
That's a tiny class.
I go in there stumbling and just rolling my eyes because I'm so tired. And I sit down, and this was a lecturer. He was he knew the mind. He knew the entities of African culture.
Okay.
He knew the gods of African culture. He knew about the spiritual aspect. He knew about everything that's derived from Africa. And he knew everything about his spirit. He talked really very, very fast. He never said an he never said an ah. He was very on pace. He was how do I put it? Just mesmerizing in the way he spoke, and it was just boom, 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 boom. No, this is this. It's just interesting fact after interesting fact.
Were you taking notes or no?
You can take notes, but it's not advised because you're just listening and absorbing.
Okay, so you didn't take notes.
No.
Oh,
the end of that class, I was as refreshed as you could ever be. I could have gotten 10 hours of sleep, and that just by him lecturing. That's how refreshing and how. That's why I always when I'm tired, I just try to find something that's really engaging and energizing, because it's not about about your tiredness, because you can stay up for days if you want to. But
you didn't take any Red Bull or anything.
no,
like
it was just the energy, the interesting facts, and just like how everything, just taking everything in consideration of African, and like how everything drive from it, and just how every culture and war that's been the center of all of it. That's where humans drive from.
Did you have a favorite book that stayed in your mind? And then we'll go to break. We'll be on a 10-15 minute break.
Okay.
But did you have a favorite book in college that you kind of reread and read and that you have on your shelf today?
And it was actually a different class, and I actually hated this teacher. Everyone did. She was hard. She was a hard teacher, and that's, not everyone likes hard teachers. Let's face it. But it was called How to Spot a Liar or something like that.
No way.
Or no, it was called.
So that was a communication class, or?
Yeah, it was called. The class was communication ethics.
Okay, communication ethics.
Yeah. So it was like How to Spot a Liar, and or it was like Everyone Lies, or How Everyone Lies. I forgot what the name of it was.
Okay.
Very, very interesting book, though. It's kind of shocking. It kind of does, it kind of highlights the subconscious lies and the, the omission of the truth and stuff like that, and really interesting book, and it's not so much a psychology.
So How to Spot a Liar?
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
that's not what it's
So
called.
people out there, you can Google it on Amazon, How to Spot a Liar. I mean, that's really interesting.
Well,
you still have the book, though.
I do, yeah. I wish I knew the name of it, but because I mean, if you type in "Spot a Liar" book on Amazon or on Google, I'm sure thousands.
That's a
of
great
results.
We'll probably have an episode on actually that. That would be a great topic for a future episode for In the Time Dojo. So here in the Time Dojo, we are going to interview great people, great writers, bold leaders, influencers, and talk about great books, great movies. So we're going to take a 15-minute break in podcast land. This is my brand new co-host. We're interviewing Albert Emery, so we're going to go on a break, and we'll continue, and we will talk about screenplays next and film.
Okay, yeah.
So we're going on a break. Woohoo! Okay, we're back from the break. This is Nelson in the Time Dojo, and I'm interviewing Albert Emery, and we're working on a movie. This is the film part, the best part on our podcast, YouTube. We are talking about Albert's history and his educational background, and his favorite class was about Africa and
African studies. Yeah, you never not a million people. I actually took a drama and screenwriting actually in college.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yes. And,
talk about that.
Well, it was very.
It was a good experience, I hope. Or
it was a good experience, and it was very basic, very I don't know, very a really broad overview. It was fun though. We made a commercial. We made just
for a communications course.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was for communication.
No way.
Yeah.
What was the communication number? Do you remember the number of the class? Communications.
No, because at that point, each communication class got branched off out of each other. So, and when you get into a master's program, it branches off into a specific category. So, what I did was took an entry-level class into this particular communication class, which was good enough to get a bachelor's or an undergraduate degree.
So you have your bachelor's, you graduated.
I do, yes, in communications. But
what was the class? A class of
2015.
2015, folks.
I was.
So that was about 7 years ago.
Yep.
June, March. What? June?
May.
So May of 2015.
Yes.
And today we're working on a screenplay together. It's going to be exciting. We're writing a coming-of-age genre, and
Motor City Steel, yes. And I'm really excited to get everything together. I really am. And what it's about is I wouldn't say confused young man, but a very open-minded young man that wants to expand his horizons. He wants to move to California. He wants to live the life, explore his life and really live the journey, so to speak. And he does that. He goes out to California. He's from Detroit, Michigan, and he loved everything about it. But he's still bombarded with student loan debt. His family's in Detroit, and between.
And he wants to be a film creative, a screenwriter.
Right.
It's an awesome. I'm so excited because we're writing it and rewriting it, and we have the first draft, so I'm kind of excited with Albert. This is his first screenplay, and
yeah,
this is going to be fun.
But the Motor City Steel thing, so he's pressured between social pressures and the frustration of his debt. He decides to come back to Detroit and work at Motor City Steel. And I'm not going to give.
We're not giving spoilers, so you're gonna have to wait. Yeah. You're gonna have to stay tuned to our channel here.
Right. So he decides to work at a steel mill in Detroit, and it's roughly based on my life, and and for those of you watching, it's not an autobiography. There's some twists and turns that have nothing to do with my life.
It's exciting. We're writing it, and
like most movies. I mean, no movie is really 100% accurate, like the scenes or whatever. Some are, but many are fabricated, exaggerated, however you want to put it.
I was doing a lot of research. I was watching a lot of different movies, and I was sharing what movies that Albert should watch. At first I was thinking of a great movie with Jennifer Beals. Motor City Steel, though, is not a musical or anything, but man, when it came, I love great storylines. I love that movie. I saw it in the 80s, and I saw it again, I think I saw it like 8 months ago. It's called Flashdance, but here we have a different character. I was reminded also of like coming of age movies. I started watching John Hughes movies like Breakfast Club and 16 Candles, St. Elmo's Fire. What was the other one I just saw? There's a lot of 80s movies. I'm a big John Hughes fan. We don't have John Hughes anymore. He wrote a lot of coming of age. So Motor City Steel to me is a really great coming of age story, but around a screenwriter. But I'm not saying anything. We're not giving the ending away or nothing.
Yeah,
we want you to stay tuned to us in the Time Dojo. And I think, Albert, you said you're writing a book. But
I am, yes.
Okay.
It's going to be about relationships, not specifically romantic relationships, just friendships. Just.
Do you have a title for it, or?
Well, the initial title is how to make a total stranger your best friend.
How to make a total stranger your best friend?
Yeah, your best friend, yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it just gives you some good icebreakers, in my opinion, and some really good tools to connect, and some...
I want to edit it if you give me a draft. I haven't seen a draft yet, but man, yeah. I was sharing with Albert, I'd love to edit it, and maybe we can talk to, if you're watching, any of you Friends people, Matthew LeBlanc, from the cast of Friends. We'd love to meet you, because I do. When he told me about that, I had ideas about writing. I want to write with Albert or someone who wants to write. We want to write. I want to reboot Friends. When he told me about the title, I was like, oh, how to take total strangers and make them friends. So you are. He is truly an expert at that, and a lot of people. I think that we're gonna make it a brand new renaissance through our Time Dojo channel, and teach you how to create bonded relationships, friends, because there's a lot of people out there we run into that do not. I swear, there's a lot of people downriver that do not know how to make friends.
Well, and
Seriously,
I think
I'm being rigorous and like nasty. I think a lot of people they need a friend's technology. They need a
well,
psychology type of NLP type of training.
well, and very few people like listening to your life story and where you work, and I mean, unless you're sharing a very interesting story about your work or what you do, or a funny story, people don't give a crap, basically, you know. And I kind of highlight in the book. It's like, you know, some people you just talk to them and they just drone on and on about what they do and just, you know, what they like, and you know, just like some of the movies that they like, and if it doesn't relate to you, it doesn't relate to you, and some people just don't get that, and they keep on jamming it down your throat, and you have to be relatable to people, and if you're not relatable, you know, you're either getting blown off by them or by the person, or they're gonna listen and wish that they had the heart to blow you off, so to speak, you know. So kind of highlights that. It kind of, you know, highlights the golden rule in general. It's like, kind of think about what you're saying to people, and if it really, like, if you would you listen to you, so to speak. So that's kind of
When's
what the book.
the target date for the publishing, or are you still working
It's
on
a process. I mean, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be tomorrow. It's not gonna be next week, but it's gonna be someday. I'll tell you that. You know, but no, I wouldn't say soon, and I wouldn't say years, because I mean, I would like to get it out as soon as possible, but
Okay.
I mean, I have so much going on right now. It's unrealistic to say that it's gonna be soon.
So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I see myself being relevant on social media for sure, whether it's my YouTube channel or if if that's the screen.
Oh, the Time Dojo, yeah, this Time Dojo. Yeah, that's the purpose of the Time Dojo. I want to introduce all the film people in Michigan and my friends that are in the film industry here. And Albert is evidently, I want to collaborate with him for at least 3 to 5 scripts. I made that an intention. I met him at Nutrition Unlimited over gingerific iced tea in Southgate, Michigan. So we're doing a shout out to Nutrition Unlimited out there.
Yeah, we wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for Nutrition Unlimited. Well,
I love that place. Yeah. It's great. I go there once or twice a week. I was just there, I think 2 days ago, 3 days ago. 3 days ago, I had a gingerific iced tea. I want to say hi to Michael and the chefs there. That made the gingerific tea.
Great juice bar.
Oh, so what do you have there? What's your favorite thing there?
I like the hot ginger shots. I like their avocado bowls. Those are really good.
Oh my God, yeah, that's what I had the other day.
Was it?
With the ginger, I had a gingerific iced tea. Michael, shout out to Michael out there. We might have Michael on. Little spoiler alert. We might have. He's a voracious reader, and also I talked to Evan Raouf. We're both Landmark Worldwide graduates. When did you do your Landmark Forum? That was a big. I know that was a big thing. He did his Landmark Forum, and
it was January 2020, and I worked at U.S. Steel at the time, and my schedule would only allow for me to go to Atlanta at that time. So I went down to Atlanta. It was January of 2020. So
oh wow, in Atlanta.
So 2 months before the pandemic really started to become a pandemic in America, I guess, when they started to shut everything down. So it was only 2 months prior to March, of 2020. And it was funny, by the time the pandemic started, I had already been to 2 major cities. I had been to Atlanta for the Landmark, and then I went and visited my uncle in Arizona in February, and so
what was the biggest breakthrough out of the Landmark Forum for you? What was your possibility you were creating?
Well, I like to tell people when I do the overall evaluation of Landmark, it's not a positive experience, and it doesn't sound like, well, why would I take a form that's not a positive experience, But it's the material you get out of it. They even mentioned it in the course. It's a roller coaster ride, because it's putting you on the spot, and they don't call you and say, ask about your sex life or anything like that. But they get inside your brain and they actually ask rhetorical question after rhetorical question, about just how is what's going on in your the deepest part of your unconscious that's really holding you back.
So they uncovered your blind spot.
They did, and they yeah, exactly, and that's a big key word in my opinion about.
And so what did you put in a space for your brand new possibility?
To take everything into consideration.
Okay.
Just to know where people are coming from when they interact with you. And that's kind of a specific detail or example of a blind spot. But taking everything into consideration is important because otherwise, there's stuff that I didn't realize about myself that was hindering me and helping me.
Oh wow, that's great.
That I never knew before.
So it did advance, and you created a possibility, and you lived into a brand new possibility.
Right, of understanding how and why, or why not people interacted the way they did with me. And looking back, and it's not a mind blowing where you're just
and you did get complete with some of the past.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's not this big, and that's the thing. It's not a big. You don't walk out of there totally mind blown or totally like you want to go hug a tree, or something like that. It's just something that builds on over time, and like you're taking it all in everything into consideration in increments.
That sounds like fun. I think I'm gonna hug a tree. There are some humans as big as sequoias, but anyway, well, that's my little improv for today.
Well, you know what I mean, though. You go to some of these. You think you're gonna go into a class and it's automatically gonna change you, and like your life's gonna be perfect. Your life's never gonna be perfect, and it's the same people who join one of those network marketing companies
that's another episode. We just had an experience together for 3 years, but we'll talk about it in another episode.
Or that join like who go to a business seminar and think that they're gonna be millionaires 3 hours after the business seminar is gonna be done. It's not like that.
I know there's a ton of them, and that's a whole another episode. I got stories for you. We can interview some people if you want to get with me and Albert. We'll interview some of you network marketeers. I know there's a lot of you out there, but we're not registering it anytime soon, just to let you know. But yeah, I got the possibility of peace. I did my landmark form October 2004, and I got complete with my divorce and chapter 7. They have a concept, a distinction called completion. So I wrote a letter, and I read my letter, and there were some odd 300 people in my landmark forum. So back in the day, October 2004, we're in this little forum and people are in a group. But today, I think from listening to you, you did another seminar, but it was on Zoom or Microsoft Teams.
And it wasn't really exactly what you would have gotten out of it if it was in person, because it was through Zoom. It was in the heart of the pandemic. I think it was October of 2020, when things were still pretty shut down, pretty locked down. It wasn't nowhere near the prior March, but it was still things were still locked down. They weren't meeting up with classes. More stuff was in Zoom than not.
Yeah.
I'd say, but yeah, landmark overall, it's a really good experience.
So it did help you get cope, because I got I had COVID. I think for 3 or 4 months, 2019. I caught it from another dude. He was from California. You know who you are. You gave it to me. You remember it was at Panera Bread. Oh my God. And you called me. But hey, we love you. Another film buddy. I got it. But to go back to Albert, yeah. So did it help you cope with what was going on with COVID, the landmark training? And
Oh, not at all. No, for me personally, I knew what I had to do as far as the precautionary stuff. I knew a lot about pneumonia, because it wasn't the COVID that was killing people, it was the pneumonia that you got from COVID. So I knew a lot about pneumonia and what you had to do to make the symptoms very minimal. So I wasn't really worried about COVID.
Okay, that's good.
But what Landmark really did for me was it really made me realize, why people treated me good and bad prior to the forum.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, why?
So you made some distinctions.
I made some distinctions, and that's the main thing I got out of it. And if there's one thing that could summarize what I got out of Landmark, it's the distinctions. Completeness too. You really, and for some people, I see why you would get complete. I got complete in many facets of my life, but the distinction for me was what really was the real. The distinction was the real distinction, I guess. No, the distinction was really what I got out of the forum.
Oh, that's great.
And that's.
And I want to acknowledge Albert very powerfully. I want to acknowledge you powerfully for sharing about your life, your beginnings in Lincoln Park, and your experience as a Railsplitter, as a football player, and then meeting that beautiful lady in college who was talking about Korea or Korean and your favorite African class.
That was a very interesting class, yeah, and I would take that class a million times. It was a funny story. I really liked my professor. He was a very down to earth guy. He had been to Africa multiple times. I actually met him. There's this bar. It was my senior year, so I could legally drink, but I met him at the bar, out of all places.
Okay, cool.
He was drinking a beer, and it's like, hey, you should come take my class one time. He's like well-rounded, like everything. He was talking to me about beer, sports,
Your professor?
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Just college classes, like the history of Detroit.
Oh, wow, okay.
And he was like, yeah, you should come take my class. I was like, well, you seem like a cool dude, I'll come take your class, so. Wow. Yeah, that's what I really look for, I try to interact with people that are really down to earth and really, I can really engage with, so. But,
Hey, you reminded me of Dr. Barclay, my professor for psychology of love and maturity, who I wrote the movie Wabi Sabi Love. I was sharing in the last episode. I'm kind of blown away. We're going to be together at the Los Angeles Asian Awards Film Festival. My buddy Albert is coming with me, and Johnny Blanchard. We're going to be there a couple days in LA, and we're going to see Garrett Theory, who lives out there. He's an executive producer, I believe, for Vision Films. So I'm reminded of Dr. Barclay, because he would have his office hours after the class in the bar. If you have that special type of professor who, motivated you and got you out on the court and everything. But I want to acknowledge Albert here. We got some screenplays coming. We're not going to tell you the ending of Motor City Steel, so stay tuned. Please log in. What was the name of your channel on YouTube?
My YouTube channel is called American Made Man, and essentially it's me. I came up with the name, and initially it was called American Explorer. But I decided to change the name just because I don't travel. I travel a lot, and I try to travel as much as possible, but, it costs money to travel, so.
And what's the name of your Instagram so people can follow you on Instagram?
It's AJE392, but.
Say it slowly so everybody knows. Look into the camera.
Yeah, just follow me on YouTube. It's American Made Man, and it's me basically traveling around the Detroit area, the Michigan area, and even across America, just talking about stuff, just talking about what I know about it, what I don't know about it, what I'm learning about it. I have me in Superior, Wisconsin, going to Duluth. I have a picture of me at a park by my house. I have a video of me at my house, and then I have
it's called American Made Man.
Yes,
on YouTube.
A video of me at Belle Isle, a video of me at a lot of state parks in Michigan. I love the outdoors. Everything that I love to do is on there, and I try to make it as interesting as possible. And I find the little tidbits in it pretty interesting. I have a short of me going and going on 8 Mile. Give me explaining 8 Mile with my best knowledge. So.
Did you see Eminem there?
I did not.
I'm kidding.
That's I get that a lot when I travel out of the state. Like I'm from the Detroit area.
That's my favorite Eminem movie is 8 Mile. Like, for real.
I think it's most people. but but I get that all the time when I go to a different city. It's like, well, do you know Eminem? It's like, oh yeah, we can. You just travel down 8 Mile, and sometimes he'll be traveling a limo and he'll be waving to people. I mean, that's like the mentality people have, you know. So it's like, no, I don't know Eminem. No one knows Eminem in Detroit. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but it's like Detroit's a big city. It's not a one-horse town over here. Of course, I don't know Eminem, you know. But I think it's kind of funny though.
So we're gonna probably do an episode on Albert when he completes his book. And the potential title, or what was the title again? How to...
how to make a friend out of a total stranger.
How to make a friend out of a total stranger. I'm totally associated to how to make friends and influence friends. You know what I'm talking about?
Not Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie, man. Dale Carnegie.
Very interesting book. A very long book, but very interesting book for sure.
My mom was saying she read that and it really influenced her because I asked my mom what was the most. My mom is Dr. Magdalena Beltran. She's a retired clinical psychiatrist from the Veterans Administration in Allen Park and VA Detroit. And my mom mentioned the title of that book by Dale Carnegie. How to
win friends and influence.
That's people, how to win friends and influence people. So you want to, in the future, tune in to the Time Dojo with Albert Emery and Nelson Santiago Beltran. So until we see you on the next episode, Albert will be here a lot. And actually, Albert will probably interview. We'll have guests in here, and you'll see Albert interviewing somebody. We're going to be interviewing Ebatari Buratulu, and we'll be interviewing Jeff Juderbach. And these are the guys on our film Team Transformation. People I'm working with, we're writing movies, so we're like a wolf pack. We are a wolf pack of Michigan writers, and we have extraordinary films coming. So stay tuned to In the Time Dojo with
Albert
Emery and Nelson Santiago Beltran signing off. We'll see you in the next episode. Woohoo!